Hi, this is Joe Beck from My Real Estate Recovery. It's a little after 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm up early on the road on my way to check out some things in the field. So for those of you that think that real estate investors have this easy life where they sleep in till noon and do a little bit of work on their computer, and yeah, it's not quite like that. It's not like what these people on the internet want to make you believe as it relates to running their real estate business, where they're sitting there with their feet up in front of the pool checking out things on the computer. That there's some things you can do that way, but there's other parts of this business you just cannot substitute getting out into the field and doing what's necessary to move your business forward. So last night I got a call from a coaching client, and this client called me up. He was all excited. He called me up saying, "Joe, I have this great deal. I really want to go over it with you." So I'm like, okay, great. Tell me about this deal. Fill me in on what's going on. Give me the numbers. And after about 30 seconds of hearing about this deal, I quickly realized that the numbers really weren't working out too well. And I didn't want to steal his motivation or certainly kind of downplay it for him. But I did want to quickly give to him my take on this deal. So this is a really good example of what a lot of newer investors run into from time to time, and that is overcoming the will to get into any deal. One of the things that's just a reality to real estate investing is people want to change their life so badly. They want to make money, do something in real estate, just feel some movement to get that energy from it, that sometimes they almost will themselves into doing a transaction. And that does not necessarily mean that that transaction is good for them. Part of the reason that it's important to work with a professional, part of the reason why it's very beneficial having a professional coach or mentor that is working with you, particularly in real estate investing, is to give you some objectivity, to give you the perspective of looking through a deal without the emotion, without the desire, without any of those entanglements that can come up when somebody is really wishing or almost willing the deal to work. So to make a long story short, in my conversation with this coaching client, I just pointed out to him some of the different things that he was doing as it related to looking at the deal. And I kind of said to him, look, perhaps we need to be a little bit more conservative in this area and that area. And after about 5 minutes of going back and forth with it, he came to the conclusion himself that, well, maybe this isn't quite as good of a deal as I thought it was. So this is a very, very typical situation that happens with new investors. And, I'm going to give you a tip as an experienced real estate investor and coach, and certainly somebody that's not only been involved with hundreds of transactions, but has reviewed thousands of transactions from myself, from, investor clients and students. I've seen a lot. It's important that you remember this as a real estate investor. It's absolutely true. It's one of those absolute truths that you need to keep in mind. Jot it down if you need to, have it in front of you. Just don't forget this very next phrase. And that phrase is this: it is better to do no deal than to do the wrong deal. And what I mean by that is this: it's better to go out and do nothing and not get into a deal that could potentially cost you time, money, and even worse, zap your motivation and change your focus on wanting to do real estate. I've coached a lot of clients, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've seen people do good deals, and I've seen people talk themselves into doing not so good deals. So it's very important as an investor, particularly as a newer investor, to make sure that the deals that you do will move you forward, that they're not that complicated, that they're things that will be able to get you money on a quicker basis, more of a quick turn approach to your business. It's not that you can't do other types of transactions, but I'm telling you, you don't want to start with something very complicated. You want to do something that's a little bit easier, that's going to make you money a bit faster. And in particular, if the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work. The numbers are what they are. You can't massage them, tweak them, adjust them, correct them. They are what they are. And if the numbers don't work and they don't make sense based upon the formulas or the profits that you're looking to generate, then you simply shouldn't do the deal. And please keep that in mind. So I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat it. It's very important for investors, particularly newer investors. It is better to do no deal than to do the wrong deal. If you are looking for professional coaching help, if you're an investor, you're out there and you're doing deals and you're just not getting out of these deals what you'd like to be getting, maybe it's time you start working with a professional coach, somebody that can work with you, give you that objectivity, and point you in the right direction of the types of deals that you should be doing. Take a look at our company, My Real Estate Recovery, at our website, www.myrerecovery.com. This is Joe Beck from My Real Estate Recovery. Have a great day.